Hello everyone, this is Sej Kashyap. Today I am going to explain you the chapter from your EVS book, that is chapter number 9, Plants, Habitats and the Adaptations. Okay, so let's start. Before starting the chapter, let me know you what is the meaning of habitat. Yes, the place or area where the plant grows is called the habitat. Yes, the area or the place where the plants are growing. These are known as habitat. Yes, and what is the meaning of adaptation? The process of adjustment of plants in a particular area. How they used to adjust. Yes, the process of adjustment of plants in a particular area is known as adaptations. Okay, so now let's see what are the plants' habitat and the adaptations. Okay, let's see now. Plants grow everywhere. Yes, you can see number of plants near your surroundings. They can be big, small, shrubs, herbs, climbers, creepers, so many things. Yes, so they can survive everywhere. They can survive in water, even they can survive in hot deserts also, where there is no rainfall, as well as in chilly polar regions. Yeah, where there is so much cold. So plants can survive everywhere. But the only point that we have to pay attention is that they should be habitual of that environment. Yes, habitual of that habitat. Okay, so once again let me repeat what is an habitat. The place or area, as I already told you, where plants grow is called their habitat. And the process of adjustment of plants in a particular area, as I've already cleared you when I've started the chapter, it's known as adaptation. Okay, yes, only those plants can adapt themselves to the habitats can survive. Only those who are habitual of those kind of environment, yes, they can survive. Okay, those plants can survive. Or if they are not habitual of that environment, how can they survive? They can die or they even die. Okay, so and all the plants cannot grow in all type of suitable climates. Okay, so they needs proper adaptation. So according to the habitats, plants can be divided into two major groups. Yes, that is traditional plants and aquatic plants. Let's see what are these two types of plants. Yeah, let me tell you what are traditional plants. Traditional plants are those plants which grow only on land. Yes, only on land, which can survive only on land. These are known as traditional plants. And these types of plants grow in different landforms. Yeah, it means different can you know, students, how many types of landforms are there? Like plains, plateaus, valleys, mountains, all this. These are our different types of plains. So these traditional plants can grow on different types of landforms. Okay, yes, plants that grow on hills and mountains. Yeah, let me tell you the plants that grow on hills and mountains, how these are. Plants that grow on hills and mountains are tall and straight. Yeah, like this. See the picture? These are tall and even they are straight also. And these are needle-like leaves. Yeah, they are needle-like leaves called pines. They have needle-like leaves. The leaves are very sharp of these plants. The leaves have a coat of wax that protects them from snow. And you know, these leaves are like a needle type. Why? Because when the snow falls on these leaves, they could not able to disturb the branches of the trees. Any destroyment is not done for the trees. If the snow falls on the leaves, it directly slips from it. Okay, they make cones instead of flowers. Yeah, cones. Cone-like structures. They make cones. Trees are in the cone shape. Yeah, cone shape instead of flowers. Okay. So now I'm turning the page. Now I'm coming on the page number 60. Yes. Most trees which are found are in conical in shape. Conical, which are very straight and which are very conical in shape. That's why, because of this conical shape, that's why they are known as coniferous trees. What they are known as? Conifers. And these are known as conifers, and that's why they are known as coniferous forest also. Some examples are given you like pine, fir, cedar and spruce are example of coniferous trees. So you can underline these trees name: fir, cedar, spruce, and in the corner it is given one more tree name, that is pine. Okay, so these are the special trees which are growing on hills and mountains. Now come on to plants that grow in plain areas, level areas. Yes, in plain areas, trees have lot of branches and trees. Yeah, there are very huge trees with a lot of branches and lot of leaves. They usually shed their leaves in winter to protect themselves from the cold weather. Yeah, instead of protecting them from the cold weather, they used to shed the leaves. And the trees that they shed their leaves are known as deciduous trees. Yeah, they used to shed the leaves in a particular season. So these trees which used to shed the leaves are known as deciduous trees. Okay, and however these trees look green in the rainy season. When it appears, the new leaves appear on the trees. So common trees which are found in the plain areas are mango tree, neem tree, peepal and banyan tree. So these are some of the important trees which I am underlining you, which are specially found in the plain areas. And these are very huge also. As you can see, the pictures are given here. Mango tree, very huge. Neem tree, very huge. Peepal, very huge. And even banyan trees. These are the different types of trees that are grown in the plain areas. Okay? Yes. Now next come on the plants that grow in hot and wet areas. Wet regions. Plants that grow in wet and hot climate also bears a lot of leaves. Yeah. They also used to bear a number of trees. Yeah. Or if number of trees are there. Because for our children, let me tell you, for a plant to grow, only two things are properly required. First thing is the water and second is proper sunlight. If these two things are properly given to the plant can grow very well. So the same thing, hot is because of the sun rays and wet climate because of heavy rainfall. Okay, and these types of trees are always found near the equatorial belt, that are near the equator. But they do not shed their leaves. Yeah, they are never shedding the leaves as in the deciduous trees they are. So they look always green whole year. That's why they are known as evergreen trees. Why they are known as evergreen trees? Because they are not shedding the leaves. They never used to shed the leaves. They always remain green because of wet regions. Because always the climate is wet because of heavy rainfall. That's why these trees are never shedding the leaves, or because of this these are known as evergreen trees. Okay, so see some examples: pine, fir, hemlock and cypress are example of such trees here. So you please underline these trees names. These are very important. Pine tree, fir tree, hemlock tree, cypress tree are the examples of such trees. That is evergreen trees, that they never used to shed the leaves. Okay, now comes to those plants in deserts. Which type of plants are growing in deserts? I know you know, but little more information I am giving you more. Plants that grow in deserts area face the problem of water. Yeah, there is a shortage of water in the desert areas because there is a very little water in the deserts. No rainfall. Always you can see desert. Yeah, sand everywhere. These plants cannot afford to lose water. Yeah, these plants cannot grow proper well here. So they have no leaves. Yeah, they have no leaves. Only they have thorns. Can't. Their leaves are modified into spines. They have thick and fleshy stems that carry out the function of photosynthesis. Yeah, so these plants, what they used to do? They used to carry out the function of photosynthesis. That the plants used to prepare the food in the presence of air, water, sunlight. Yeah, so what they have, especially these roots, what they have? These plants have long roots. They have long roots which go deep into the ground. Where they used to grow? Deep in the ground. I am turning the page number 61 I am opening now. Okay, so what they used to do? They go deep into the ground. Yes, to move in the search of water. Yes, so like this they are grown. Like cactus you can see which have thorns. Yeah, and prickly pear. These are the two special trees which are mostly found in the desert areas. Okay, yes. Now comes Plants that grow in marshy areas. What are called marshy? Wet areas. Wet. Marshy areas, wet areas. They are known as mangroves. Yes, the plants that are grown in marshy areas, these are known as mangroves. The soil of the marshy areas lacks air. Yes, they want air. So these plants are special breathing roots. Which plants? The plants that are grown in the wetty areas, that is marshy areas. So they have special breathing roots that come out of the soil to absorb air. Okay, so here some names are given here. Rhizophora or Sundari is a very good example of mangrove trees, and these trees are mostly found in Sundarban deltas of West Bengal. Okay, yes, Rhizophora and Sundari trees, and Sundari trees are very well famous for West Bengal. Okay, yes. Now come on to aquatic plants. Students, you know what are aquatic plants? Very simple. Plants that grow in water. Yes, very nice. Plants that grow in water are known as aquatic plants. And there are three types of aquatic plants. Okay, so let me tell you what are these. First is floating plants. Next is fixed plants. And next is underwater plant. Okay, so let's see what are these plants called. First comes on floating plants. Floating. Float means that those used to flow on water. Floating plants are very small and they are very light in weight. Yes, they are very light in weight. They does not carry any weight. Like Wolfia, Pistria and duckweed are very small or very light in weight. So water hyacinthus has many bulb-like swellings that are filled with air. And because of this weightless, they can easily float on water. They make the plant light and so that they can easily float on water. Float means Terna. They will not go deep into the water. Instead of that, they used to float because they are very light. Okay, so that's why the plants that are floating on water, they are known as floating plants. Examples are given to you here. Flobia, Pistria and duckweed. Okay, yes. Now comes fixed plants. Fixed, that is stable. Some water plants remain fixed at the bottom bed of the water bodies. Yeah, remain fixed. Fixed means at one position. At the bottom bed of the water bodies, at the seabed. With the help of roots, they are stable. They are not changing the position. Either they will float or not, they will go more inside. Such plants are very long, hollow and light stems that keeps the leaves and flowers of the plant afloat. Okay, so these are having a very long, deep and light stems that keeps the leaves, and flowers not to float. The upper surface of the leaves is coated with wax to prevent them from rotting. Yes, the upper surface, what it is there? It is coated with wax so that it cannot be rotten. The leaves have the stomata on the upper surface. Yeah, the leaves have the stomata. That is, the examples are given you here. Water lily and lotus are known as common examples. So some plants names are given here. That is water hyacinths. Okay, next one, it is phobia. Phobia, it is a floating plant. Lotus, it's a fixed plant. Okay, water lily, it is also a fixed plant. Okay, so see, these are some examples with the pictures are given to you. Now I am turning the page to page number 62. Yes, now comes the last category of the aquatic plants, that is underwater plants. Underwater means under the water. Okay, some aquatic plants remain underwater totally, always. They are remaining under the water. The leaves are very thin and narrow. Yes, the leaves are very thin and narrow to offer little resistance to water currents. They have no stomata on the leaves. No stomata. Yes, so they have no stomata at all. Exchange of gases takes place through the general surface of the leaves. Hydrilla is a very good example. Vallisneria is a very good example of such aquatic plants. Okay, so now comes insectivorous plants. Some plants are carnivorous in nature. Yes, some plants that used to trap the insects. Yes, and they eat away. And such plants are known as insectivorous plants. I should say that insectivorous plants are those plants which are completely depend upon insects. They eat insects. These are known as insectivorous plants. So let us see, or we can call them as meat eaters also. Okay? Yes. So let us see here. Some 3 plants are given to you. That is sundew plant. Sundew plant. Yes, what it does. Picture is given to you. Sundew plant. Sundew plant picture is given to you. Everyone look at the sundew plant. What it does. It traps insects. It just traps insects in its deadly tentacles. What are the tentacles? These are the tentacles. When any insect used to sit on this, it used to trap the insect. These tentacles are found on the leaves. Yeah, on the leaves. Each tentacle has sticky drop that traps the insect. Whichever insect is sitting on these leaves, a sticky substance is there so that the insect will not be able to fly later. So later on, this plant used to trap it easily. Okay, that is known as sundew plant. Okay, next comes Venus flytrap. Venus flytrap has leaves that shut like a pair of jars. Yeah, see, it's very what I should say, very danger to see this plant. It's looking dangerous. Yes, the Venus flytrap has leaves that shut like a pair of jars. See, these are the pair of jars. These are the pair of jars. So when an insect touches the sensitive hair, when any insects can come in and touch this sensitive hair on the surface of the leaf, it just gets closed. These are getting closed and the insect used to trap inside this. Okay, when the jars are closed and insects used to trap under this. That is known as Venus flytrap. Okay, next comes pitcher plant. Pitcher plant. Yes, pitcher plant has a pool of liquid. Yes, this is called a pitcher plant. Yes, it is having a pool of liquid. Inside it hollow leaves. Yeah, inside the leaves it has a liquid like material. So when an insect sits on the edge of the pool, yes, when any insect comes here and sits on the pool, what happens? It falls down into the pool. It falls down into the pool. Okay, and the pool segregate juices and dissolve the insect. So like this, whenever any insect used to come and sit on the edge of this, it just falls down into the pool. And then the pool segregates juices and then it dissolves it. Okay, so like this we are able to learn about sundew plant, Venus flytrap, pitcher plant. Okay, so I hope you have understood what are insectivorous plants which are known as meat eaters also, which used to eat the insects also. Okay, thank you for listening me. I hope you have understood the chapter. Thank you so much.